Well, it's set to be a busy day for President Emmanuel Macron, fresh off his summer holidays. He'll be also holding his first cabinet meeting back today. It comes less than 2 weeks before the moment of truth for Prime Minister Francois Bayrou, who faces a vote of no confidence in Parliament. Bayrou is hoping to gain support for his much-contested 2026 budget, which includes several unpopular measures to reduce France's spiralling debt, including the proposal to cut public holidays. Well, France 24's Norris Trent is standing by for us outside the Élysée Palace. Catherine, good to see you. So it's a tough return for Macron, as I mentioned there, after his holidays, and the political crisis looks very much to be on the horizon for the government now.
Good morning, Yinka. Well, here in France, yes, it's back to work for the government, but right back into a political crisis. This is the first cabinet meeting after France's summer break, and it comes just 2 days after the French Prime Minister, Francois Bayrou, announced sending shockwaves throughout the political system here in France that he would be calling a confidence vote in his government on the 8th of September. Basically, a put up or shut up the members of the National Assembly, the Parliament here in France, saying either you back my plans for sweeping budget reforms, basically an austerity budget of 44 billion euros, or me and my government will resign. And it looks at this moment that gamble is not likely to pay off. He doesn't have the numbers as things stand. Several opposition parties have already come out and said that they won't vote for confidence in the government, meaning he and his government would have to resign. So he's got 13 days left, and he's said that he is ready to fight like a dog. I'm quoting there a newspaper interview published yesterday for his political survival. But at the moment, it seems that he isn't managing to convince both parties on the left and the right that they should back his reforms. Nor public opinion. A recent opinion poll showed that more than 70% of the public here hope he doesn't get that confidence and that he has to resign. So it's an uphill battle. But, you know, this is French politics, and we've become kind of accustomed to these crises. So there is perhaps some room for manoeuvre, even though it appears very difficult at this stage.
Very much looking like that vote is stacked up against Bayrou there. Tell us about the spiralling debt that is going on as well, and how serious France's economic crisis is at the moment.
Right, so this is why Francois Bayrou called this confidence vote, because he wants to get this budget passed, which would include 44 billion euros of cuts, basically public spending cuts, because France's debt has really spiraled in recent years. I mean, political parties across the aisle recognise that. They just have different solutions for it, drastically different solutions. France's public deficit at the moment is around 5.8% of GDP, which makes it the worst in the Eurozone and nearly twice the maximum level that the EU wants to see for Eurozone countries. So that is something which has been worrying the markets and even sparking talk of perhaps an intervention by financial institutions such as the IMF, although the finance minister has walked back on claims that could be imminent. You've got the public deficit, which is at which is at 114% of France's GDP. And Francois Bayrou outlined in his speech on Monday that actually financing that huge public debt is the biggest single item in the French budget at the moment. And this year alone, it will cost some 66 billion euros.
Staggering figures there. Catherine, thanks so much for that. We'll, of course, be checking in with Catherine throughout the day. So stay with us here on France 24.